belabor it. Your dinner is waiting in back. You don't have to buy her story, and you shouldn't. The inconsistencies. I'm not going to belabor it. Your dinner is waiting in back. Let's just briefly talk about the experts.
Okay,
and we'll move on
Mr.
to the
J.
end. Dr. Brandon was absolutely fantastic.
I'm not going to belabor it. Your
He
dinner's waiting in
explained
back.
everything that you all needed to know about battered spouse. The day.
I'm not going to belabor it. Your
He
dinner's waiting in
explained
back.
everything that you all needed to know about battered spouse syndrome.
The rebuttal, closing argument.
This isn't about whether one of them or both of them had battered spouse, because at the end of the day, she's the initial aggressor, and she had the duty to do the things that the law requires.
She's the initial
But it
aggressor.
does call into question the credibility of the past power dynamics of their. Those videos speak for themselves. The officer in the last video asks him, "Dude, you're a guy. Why don't you do something about this woman, your wife, who you don't want to rat on for beating you?" It's like, man, I'm not a beefcake. I'm not gonna rat her out.
This is his conversation with police that he's
There's
referencing.
countless examples, if you apply Dr. Brandon's testimony to Juan Torres, that really shows you the power dynamics of the relationship. He was her violent pet. Dr. Harper, I don't find much quarrel with what she says about battered spouse syndrome, and nobody should. I mean, she's the expert. But she's not Miss Boone's treating physician. She's not her treating psychologist. The way it was described in argument, and I believe from Dr. Brandon's testimony, was she's supposed to be a forensic detective. Get to the bottom of this. She's going to come in here at trial and tell you her opinion you should rely upon. With 9 visits, she never asked the defendant what it is the victim said that put you in imminent fear of death or great bodily harm.
That's a good rebuttal.
That's the crux of the matter, Doc.
Good rebuttal. That's a good rebuttal.
You're never going to ask her what it is he said or did for this grand jury instruction about threat of force or use of force? It's remarkable. And, she didn't review everything that was presented to you. At the end of the day, it's your opinion that matters about this relationship. And again, we
Emily
agree with
D.
Dr.
Baker.
Warner. It doesn't matter. She had the duty to retreat. She had the duty to take the chokehold off. And if it was too dangerous for her to directly take the chokehold off, she had the duty to do something else, everything in her power, to stop him from dying, because she started it. She set it in motion. She used the force grip on him from a distance, the couch and from bed. It was her obligation to stop. She didn't.
That's true.
But Dr. Warner, she was called by the state of Florida after having evaluated and listened to the defendant give a similar story and concluded battered spouse doesn't apply. So she was never asked to delve any deeper into it. Given the information that she did have, the limited information, she agrees. Yes, Miss Boone has battered spouse syndrome, but it doesn't apply to the case because she was the aggressor and she did not fulfill her obligations. And really just your gut common sense. Go back to jury selection. In jury selection, there was examples about bullies day after day doing something to somebody. And somebody raised their hand and said, don't they have to do something that day? Don't they have to do something that day? And he didn't. After he was put in fear of death and told her he can't breathe, the imminent threat of great bodily harm and death she is describing to you is him fighting for his life to escape.
So
She did not fulfill her obligations. Mr. Torres knows not to do anything when being videotaped. Bizarrely, shortly thereafter, they showed a very edited clip of him attacking her and slapping the phone out of her hands. He knows he was being videotaped, and there was another video like it too. So to make the argument that he doesn't do anything, he's a good boy when he's being videotaped, it's belied by their own argument. They showed one of the videos. Learned helplessness. She seemed to control everything. I mean...
All right, I just rewound it because I wanted to show this part.
Is George Torres' head is here.
Oh dear.
You can stand if you need. You've been sitting a long time too.
They just told the jury you can stand
His head
if you need
is here.
to. He's like, take a stretch break.
His butt is kind of down here. His feet are here. And his hands and his knees are up here. He's in the fetal position, if we remember right. The hematoma on his head is on the left side.
Sarah
The
showed the
bruises,
jury.
the deep bruises on his back are on his left side.
Yikes.
That's, you hear that? That's solid.
That's what I said. How did he get those injuries?
She put those marks on him while he was in there.
Yep.
The evidence doesn't support it.
Yep. She hit him.
You can
beforehand.
conclude she used his bat when he was outside the suitcase.
I withdraw my idea.
You don't have to believe her when she said they were playing hide and seek. You don't have to believe her because she doesn't know the rules. She came downstairs, saw what she had done, and had all the opportunity in the world to clean up whatever mess may have been at the bottom of the stairs. But ladies and gentlemen, physics doesn't lie. She
That was a good demonstration.
can't expect you to believe her testimony about the loud boom being the day before compared to her two neighbors who weren't drinking, who have no interest in the outcome of the case, who suffer from none of the infirmities of her testimony. She suffers from all 6 infirmities. When her neighbors say there was a loud boom that night, there was a loud boom that night. Did it shake the wall they shared in common? It shook the wall that they shared in common. Did she have any injuries consistent with being dragged up and down the stairs the night before?
No.
No. You saw the pictures the CSI took. You don't have to accept her story about hide and seek.
I think he was trying to leave her. He got his suitcase. He was like, "I'm leaving you, bitch," and she
It takes energy to make a loud boom.
hit him with the bat.
Energy that could very well be in the form of somebody going down some of the stairs, all of the stairs, in the suitcase, out of the suitcase. But that's what the evidence supports, is there was a loud boom that shook the walls and interrupted a FaceTime conversation that was so loud that the girlfriend on the other end heard it.
Oh, God.
Something loud happened. And then there was silence, according to the witnesses. And they can argue that Juan Torres' testimony was great for them. It's great for the state. She was screaming at him already at 7:30 p.m. She was already on her bully pulpit. And we know she doesn't need to put him into the coffin to get on her bully pulpit.
Yep.
There's video after video of her on her bully pulpit telling you how it's going to be.
Yep.
How you're going to live your life. Go take a walk. Do this. Do that. You don't have to accept anything she said.
I'm going to fast forward now. I'm going to have to
You don't have to accept anything she said. It's inconsistent that he received the hematoma to his head, his bloody mouth. How is his mouth getting bloodied inside the suitcase? That's protected from her and her bat. But that suitcase, a 100-pound drunk woman is not beating through the wood of that suitcase or whatever it is that's making that noise when it's thumped. Ladies and gentlemen, those injuries happened outside of the suitcase.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, somebody or something went down those stairs. She has no injuries consistent with going down the stairs. He does. He has blunt force trauma all over him. You don't have to buy her story, and you shouldn't. The inconsistencies, I'm not going to belabor it. Your dinner is waiting him back.
Oh.
This is not a self-defense case under the law. Go back and follow the law. You cannot feel sorry for her. You cannot feel sorry for him. You cannot feel angry at her. You cannot feel angry at him. It's maddening to see their relationship. It is maddening. Nobody would want this life for yourselves or your children. It is violent nonsense, but it does not affect what she did and what her duties were under the law that night. She wanted to punish him. She did, and then she left him there. She did, and then she left him there. And she had an obligation, if you even believe her story about the imminent threat for him fighting for his life, she had an obligation to do something about it and not just go upstairs and let him suffocate. Thank you.
And the rebuttal is done at 6:50. 8:58.
Thank you both.
Local time.
Members of the jury.